Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me, Amanda T, here on Create Your Future. I am so grateful you're here. I intend that you all like, share, subscribe, and comment down below. Also, check out our free course on how to get past those blocks and manifest anything quickly. Apologies, I have a cold all week, and now my breathing's getting a little difficult. But at this time of filming this video, I am still 50% off one-on-one coaching, so go ahead and book now. All right, everybody. Like conscious creators, this video is on how to save your manifestation by stopping this one thing, and that is relinquishing the how. Relinquishing how. Now, there's a reason for this, and I'm going to give you a couple different breakdowns and then also how to do it. It's really deeply rooted actually in the idea of detachment. I don't know how this is going to manifest. I want it to create my future. If you are a true blue manifester and you know you can create anything and you've done it again and again and again, you can literally create things out of thin air. I have a client about a year ago. She lives in another country and we were trying to stir up 3P. We were getting creative. And I said, what if we had something sent to her house? And I said anonymously. And she told me about this thing that's offered in her country that actually can be sent to someone's doorstep, but you have to request it, and then you have to submit for it, and then they'll send it to you, but they'll send it to you for free. And I was like, oh, what if we just, it just randomly appears? And she couldn't believe that happened. So the next time I talked to her, she's like, oh my God, 3P got this thing. She even called the police. She was like, who sent this to me? And my client had not sent it to her. She was not going to do that. It was a test of our power. It was a test of a manifestation to kind of, throw a bowling ball through some pins and see what we could do. And that thing landed at 3P's doorstep. So you can really create anything, but we are so limited by our beliefs and by our perception of the things that we've seen. It's very hard. That's why it's really interesting when people come from different walks of life, different cultures and things, because they do things so differently. It's a really eye-opening and rewarding experience, because if you can only rely on your own experience, you don't know how to do everything. I don't know how to do everything. So, for example, right, I wanted to, I have a success story. It's on another video. It's of mine. This one time, I didn't want to call the doctor's office. I was in a mood. I was vacuuming. And I was like, I'm a master manifester. I'm the operant power of my reality. Everybody's me pushed out. They're going to call me. And I just for a second had a visualization and just thought, well, how, Amanda? How is that going to happen? And the only thing, and this is the key point, the only thing I could think of is, well, somebody in the office working on records, working on things is going to stumble upon mine and see that it's been a while. They're curious and they give me a call. What was interesting about that is that actually just a few minutes later, the doctor's office did call me, and it was so incredible. The woman's like, this isn't even my regular job. She worked in like billing or something. And she's like, I just felt like picking up the phone and making some calls. So she didn't make phone calls in her regular 9-to-5 job. But I created that because I thought it was possible. So what happens when you have a manifestation you really want to see come to fruition and you don't know how? What if I hadn't thought of somebody doing that? What if I hadn't worked in an office before and thought that? What if I thought, oh, people don't do stuff like that? Well, I kind of believe people are a little bit nosy. And I also believe that people like to be helpful. I stumbled across something. Oh, well, I can take care of that. I guess that's a little bit of me, right? EIYPO. So here's the thing. What if I had not been able to think about that? There's so many manifestations where if I had to decide the how many possibilities would I actually be able to come up with? 1, maybe 2, 3 or 4 if I'm like really creative and imaginative. The possibilities are endless. They are limitless. You really pigeonhole and back yourself into a corner. I repeat, you back yourself into a corner when you're questioning and wondering how. There's 7 billion people in this world. I have this many clients each week. There are 7 billion people in this world. If you have a job where you need people to show up, maybe you're a real estate agent, you need to sell the house. Well, somebody's always going to be looking for a house. Somebody's always going to need or want a house. During the Great Depression, houses were still sold. The sky's the limit. I was told for years, this is a silly one, but I was told for years that it was impossible to dye my hair blonde, that it had to be done a certain way and blah, blah, blah. And so I finally decided, source, universe, me I'm actually talking to, if we can send people to the moon, they can dye my hair. The possibilities are endless. I'm not going to say, oh, well, they said it was impossible. They said it couldn't be done. They said the chemicals wouldn't work. No, I don't even need to know more. I don't have to understand the how behind it. I've just decided. So if you want SP and say you're in no contact, say it's been years since you've talked, since maybe you embarrassed yourself. Maybe you're like, oh, we got in a fight or something like that. How will we get back together? How is this going to work out? How are they going to feel a certain way towards me again? That's all questioning. That's all destroying your manifestation. You're just, putting it through a paper shredder. I don't care how, universe. I don't care how, me. It's what I want. I'm going to get it. You need to become a better liar. I think I'm going to make a video on that. You should be able to say things like, there is a pink unicorn behind me, very convincingly. The art of the bluff. You just want to win. Does it really matter how? Does it really matter how you get there? Especially, like I said, that box just appeared on that woman's house because me and my client, oh, I'm glitching a little bit. There we go. Because my client and I thought that was a good idea. So the universe, we manifested that it happened. The how will never matter. The how will never matter. If you're getting thoughts of how from your wisdom brain, it's because it's trying to figure it out. Imagine you're 1,000 years ago and you're hungry and you need to catch a fish. You have to figure it out. There has to be a way. That is why we have a how brain. It is for here in the 3D to survive. It is not to create. It is not to manifest. You live in the how with the 3D. How do I get my driver's license? Well, I should probably learn how to drive. That's how. How do I get SP to call me when things were a little messed up the last time we talked? Well, they love me. I love them. I don't care how. I don't care how. I don't care why. I don't care how. I don't care who. I just believe that it is an unlimited, vast, my brain started talking about 2 different things at once. Sorry. There are so many different choices that I will never be able to even come up with. So like I said, don't back yourself into a corner. And then I was reading a quote today about Albert Einstein. That's what popped in my head and I didn't want to forget it. And it said that God doesn't do coincidences. And that's actually why he wasn't able to do unified theory and all these things. But that's exactly right, Einstein. God does not do coincidences. The universe doesn't do a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. It's never a coincidence. You are a creator. You can have absolutely anything in this world as long as you don't worry about how. If you worry about it a little bit, don't beat yourself up. Always give yourself grace, love, and understanding. That's the human part of me. It really wants to understand. And I'm sure I will someday. And maybe you'll get some downloads. Maybe you'll get some fresh, inspired action. But if you really want SP, you really want the money, you really want the job, don't care about how. You're the most qualified because you're the best one there is. And there is no one else. But for in the 3D moment, when it feels like there's someone else, that's okay. So like I said, if it feels like there's someone else with SP or with the job or something like that, oh, well, maybe this, oh, well, maybe that. Nope, that's the thinking mind. That's of this 3D world. Those thoughts aren't real. I don't need wisdom. I don't need wisdom for that. I need to create for this. I need to be a manifestor this and relinquish the how and walk in and get the job and not and believe that SP will choose me and not worry about how. Every time you relinquish the how, manifestation, 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 you're going to see it start dropping in your lap. I intend that this video helps. I hope you have a great day. I love you so much. Bye-bye.